Yo, what is poppin' peeps from the Philippines to the world? This is Vince the Prince, vibing on your zone, your sound, your crown. A sunny morning here in the Philippines and a breezy midnight there in United Kingdom. We are live on our YouTube and Facebook simulcast via Fresh FM. And for today, Fresh Sound, Fresh Quad, we got a new upcoming global artist. Yep, you've heard that right. And an independent British Filipino trap soul and R&B singer, songwriter, and record producer, born and bred in East London, UK. A unique artist committed to break into the music scene in the UK, US, Philippines, and the rest of the Southeast Asian countries and the world, while achieving the goal of becoming the first mainstream British Filipino artist. Peeps of the Philippines and the world, Fresh Quad, live from United Kingdom here at Fresh Sound. Help me welcome our one and only Monré.
Hi guys, what's up? Good morning, where you guys are. How is everyone doing? My name's Monré, and yeah, I'm a British independent Filipino artist from London, UK. I'm very happy to be here on Fresh FM, very honoured, and yeah, look forward to this interview together.
Yeah, so thank you, Monré, for having chosen the Fresh FM to have you interviewed this day. I know it's 2 a.m. in there. We really appreciate your effort, of waking up this night. Probably most of the people in UK are snoring as it is bedtime in there, and you are so active and you still look finesse, man, my man. And may I
Thanks.
ask you, how's everything? How's the new normal treating you, Monray?
Yeah, it's all okay over here. I would say well, that over here everything's pretty much back to normal in terms of the restrictions and stuff. There isn't much any, and yeah, just adapting to everything's kind of changed now, as you know, to more digital, and yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, that's great to hear that you're still doing good. You're sustaining everything from your end amidst this pandemic. It's somehow kind
Mm.
of blessing in disguise too, because we're able to explore different scenes, especially digital music and virtual concerts, as you have mentioned in one of your posts in IG and a while ago in our prior briefing here.
Hmm.
And in there in UK, how is the situation there of the pandemic? Are you guys, are you still allowed to wear masks when you go outside or in public? Are
It's
you?
more yeah, it's more optional now. If anything, it's recommended is the actual word that we're like our government here is using in terms of like wearing masks and stuff. But it's pretty much you just go
Mhm.
out back to normal, do like what you usually would do. Really, go to work. If you want to go to the gym, want to go to the park. There's no social distancing. It's
Mhm.
pretty much back to normal
Wow.
here. Yeah.
Mhm. That's actually great to hear because you keep a good balance in your life, from your social life,
Mm.
from your music career, and you've mentioned that you're into fitness, as seen right here, or the gorgeous ladies watching right now. You might be falling for Monray. You better stream him on Spotify. So, how do you keep it balanced, Monray? Everything from your social life, from fitness, and from your work.
I don't know. I would just say it's just my general work ethic that I like grew up like like growing up with my Filipino heritage. Anyway, I've always had that drive to just like do the best for my family and um yeah, and just kind of just stick to a routine. So like my routine would be like wake up early in the morning, from around like 5 or 6 in the morning, work out, get my workout in, see what like if it's from the beginning of the week, see what my work schedule is, like going to work, and then kind of just plan around there. Like family time is very important. Always make sure you leave time for your family, and then friends as well after.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's brilliant to hear because you know that's really the challenge for almost everyone, especially us, the
Mm.
younger ones in this generation, and how to cope up everything mentally, physically, and socially. And I'm glad
Mm.
that we can draw an inspiration, like a motivation from you because you're doing almost holistically in life. So that's kudos to you. And looking forward to one day having you as my one of my pegs personally.
Mm-hmm.
And going into the music scene, Monrey, I really got curious with the name. That sounds so cool and so unique. Where that very finesse name came from? Is it part of your original or real name, or is it just crafted for your music career? Can you
Yeah,
please have us
so it's
enlightened
just a
with that?
yeah, it's just like a word play on my real name, and I just swapped it over, and you get Monré. And I kind of just got like when I was thinking of like what names to come up as an artist name, I didn't want to just choose like everyone's like
Hmm.
Lil something,
Yep.
Lil. Then I just thought I'd give a bit of thought into my name, be a bit more
Hmm.
creative, and just do word on play with my name. So like Nicki Minaj, for example,
Yes.
her real name is Onika Mirage. She switched it to Nicki Minaj to just change it up a bit,
Yeah.
and I've done the same. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually learning a lot from you, especially from that Nicki Minaj part. And yeah, thank you for enlightening us with your name. It will help us recall it. And it's easy.
Mm,
It's just easy to recall because yesterday I'm in a series of recalling your name, Monrey. Monrey. That sounds so unique.
mm,
That sounds strange, but it's beautifully, it's beautifully named for you, and that's what
thanks.
sets you apart from the names of the other artists without undermining them,
Mm,
actually.
of course.
And you've mentioned a while ago, having quality time with your family and friends. I want to know more about your Filipino family background. I'm curious about how you were raised by your Filipino parents.
Of course.
Given that you were born and bred in East
Mm,
London, UK, were you influenced by Filipino values such as, kissing the hand of the elderly person, or we call it in Filipino, it's mano po, or expressing politeness with po and
mm.
opo as you speak Tagalog or Filipino, and doing household chores like cooking rice or washing dishes perhaps. And how is it overall growing up in a Filipino family outside the Philippines?
Sure. Yeah, yeah, I would definitely say raised with strong Filipino heritage. It was it's just me and my mum, and my auntie and Apong, which is also that's in an Ilocano, so that's Lola in Tagalog. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Wow.
so like we'll be like we're quite close, like our family always been close. We would talk Tagalog, when my obviously she's not with us at the moment, like now. But before she passed, like we would talk like a lot of Tagalog, and like she would cook like all the Filipino food, and that's like my childhood memory as well, like us all having dinner together. We still do,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's like my childhood memory in terms of like Filipino heritage and upbringing and stuff. And yeah, would always stick to the R part, but wouldn't do like mana pot as much.
Yeah, you do that,
But
right? That
still,
gesture.
yeah, but was still like still stayed respectful, knowing how to say pot and or pot and stuff. And yeah.
That's great that you're actually raised, by a very strong Filipino values, especially our mom. Filipino moms are really strict and kind of like disciplinarian. Am I right? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because in Asian heritage or in Asian culture, our parents really are so focused and stick with their children, and so when
Mm,
that happens, they'll be watching every inch of our action inside home, and most especially in our school. So most
mm.
basically, you performed so well in your school because you were monitored, and you're
Yes.
strong. You are, the flashlight, the spotlight focused on you by your parents are strong enough that, you know,
Mm.
once we got some mishaps or failure, we might get tanked or what.
Oh
And
gosh, yeah.
yeah, and Filipinos, we really we really rather adore inspirational stories, like motivational stuff and things. Why do you think, Filipinos overseas are so successful like you right now? You're in UK. So is there a formula there in UK that or in other countries that you think that we Filipinos can have in order for us to get fulfilled and successful?
I would say it kind of stems back to like that support system. So
Mhm.
like going back to like your family and your friends and other fellow Pinoys, I guess. Like us as Filipinos, we're quite supportive of each other, and kind of just stems from there. And I think that's how we are successful, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
overseas and including in the UK and stuff. And yeah, it just stems from that, having that strong support system. Um, and yeah, we're supportive of each other, especially when it comes to like, us Filipinos. We want to see other Filipinos do well, and we are making a name for us as
Mm-hmm.
well. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Raising your flag and,
Mm.
not, you know, cutting off everything from your backbone or your support system before, even though you're now
Mm.
an independent artist and you're doing quite well and with yourself by your own self, but you're still having that Filipino value. You're still with your mom, your lola, your auntie, and your Filipino family there in UK, and that's really a
Mm.
strong, support system. As we say, blood is thicker than water.
Most definitely,
Yes,
yes.
most definitely, we believe on that, and we stick with that one. And Monrey, when it comes to your going to your transitioning to your music career, can you tell us about how you started? What about the genesis of your musical journey by far? How did
Of
it all
course.
started?
It all started, I would say, when I was about 7. My Lola, so when I would stay around hers, she actually bought like a mini like keyboard, MIDI keyboard, um, just to so I don't get bored when I'm there, and I just kind of found out I had a knack and instinct for music in the ear. So like I found out whatever I could hear, I could literally just play it on the piano and eventually play the song. So I kind of,
Wow.
yeah, so I kind of at the time I was just like, oh, yeah, this is fun, form of escapism
Uh-huh.
for me. So I stuck to it, and then obviously going through education. A good story is like when I reached secondary school. So like before you go high school, there I would say maybe. Um, um, I was actually the only one in my year to do music GCSE, so the qualification that actually went offering, and I was the only one to do it, and they offered it to me, but I had to do, so like usually you would study like 3 years to
Mm-hmm.
do a specific course or degree. For example, for the music one, when I was in secondary school or high school, I had to do it in 3 months instead of 3 years. That was all the
Oh.
theory. Yeah, so they gave me a chance because they saw that I had a talent for music,
Mm-hmm.
and so they reached out to the examining board over there, over here, sorry, and yeah, and they said on the condition that instead of me doing it in 3 years, I will have to do it in three. And obviously, I loved music so much. Um, I got in, I got my A's in my GCSEs for the music, the theory as well, because obviously, as I told you, I could learn everything by ear. But theory is a whole different ball game. Like you have to read your notes, you have to know the pitch in your head. But I managed to get that all round as well. So yeah, and that's the one kind of stemmed from production. So like
Mm-hmm.
moving from the piano, like you got like electric piano with like the little squares where you can press the beats and stuff. Got into production there for like from moving from secondary, like high school to college, and then uni as well. I kind of once I got the production side and performance side like studied and done, and like sound engineering as well. I looked more into the degree that I graduated in, which is music business and law. So a bachelor's honours degree in that. Graduated, and I thought I would do that degree only because there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes for an artist, for example, that we don't see. Like we will see them perform on like the Grammys, award shows, and everything. And there's a lot of stuff, a lot of work with loads of teams, different teams like digital marketing, PR, you name it. There's various aspects that go into an artist that we don't see, and I just thought I'd learn about that, especially when it comes to the contractual side, and entertainment also. That's why I thought I would do that, and yeah, and kind of from there, that's when I thought I will start releasing my own stuff once I graduate, focus on my music and my craft, my sound, and get my music out there. And yeah, that's kind of the genesis, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and here we are. I've released my second EP. Just released my second EP called Alignment. Um, And yeah, here we are.
Wow, wow. That right there is actually a genius thing because you've learned music from its core, from its very essence before you get
Mm.
exploring new style of music, hip hop, R&B, and pop. And I really got curious. I want to ask you this. Have you also tried, exploring classical side of music and theater, something like that?
Oh, like classical, like Bach,
Mm-hmm.
Sinatra, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I actually had to learn the piano, so when they grade you on piano to see if you're, keeping up with your theory, yeah, you have to learn a lot of classical pieces because there's certain specific techniques. Like when you write certain notes, there's specific techniques that you have to be able to, like, know how it's played. And yeah, and I definitely found like the structure of classical music can teach you a lot about rhythm and tempo and how to add your own, let's say, spice and flavor to your own music. There's a lot of stuff that you can learn from the past before you can create the future, if that makes sense. In order to create the future, you got to know the past, so all, including all the music before our time. You got to research and understand, and yeah.
Yeah, like you're putting it as the milestone in order for you to have, some
Mm-hmm.
influences, inspiration to draw pegs on the creation of the music that you got here in contemporary times. And that's great because aside from learning the core of music, aside learning its very essence, you also are learning the industry at a
Mm-hmm.
very young age, the contractual thing that you've mentioned a while ago, and behind the scenes, stuff like that. Those are
Mm-hmm.
really like will make you ready, even though you're still very young. Anytime soon, you're going to be your prime, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
both of the worlds were very filled on your end, and you
For
grew up,
sure.
right, Monré, listening to hip hop. How did you
Mm-hmm.
transition, from playing, you know, your Lola's keyboard? Because most probably your Lola isn't listening to K-pop, hip hop, or R&B. It most probably will be the old-fashioned ones, the old style music,
Mm-hmm.
classical ones, I must say. So transitioning to that, how did you know, from that classic one, then you jump and transition with the hip hop and R&B?
Well, growing up, my mum would also play like a lot of old school hip hop, R&B, like LL Cool J, Aaliyah, Timberland. Timberland's like a great producer that when I was growing up anyway, he was like, producing a lot of beats for a lot of artists back then, for the old school 90s and 2000s. And yeah, like Missy Elliott as well. So that all stuck in the back of my mind at the time as I was growing up. Before I actually decided I wanted to go down the route of doing music, um, and then so like it just kind of opened my mind to listening to more things. So like for example, you mentioned K-pop, like
Hmm.
that. While I was like researching more different pieces to learn on the piano, different techniques, I came across K-pop via a group who is now like world famous. I would say, and
Yep,
like well
I'm a big fan
established
of that too.
BTS,
Yes.
Bangtan Sonyeondan, which is also yeah, and BTS. Their when they debuted in 2013, their single "I Need You," which is what blew them up, um, that came up on the recommended on YouTube. So I clicked on it because I thought I saw an Asian group, someone that maybe I could identify with whilst growing up and listening. Once I clicked it, I was instantly hooked, and then that's when you. That's how kind of K-pop works. Like once you listen to one, you kind of get invested in seeing like more different types of groups that you can come across and different concepts and different sounds, and that's what I liked about BTS. Once I heard it, I just never heard any other group like that in terms of like how they make their production. It's well thought out. It's a story. There's a concept. The dance choreography as well, like singing and rapping, and they produce their own stuff. So it was kind of like seeing what I wanted to aspire to be, which that's what I kind of took away from like K-pop as well. And yeah, so I kind of just stemmed from then, like keeping an open mind to listen to as many genres, which what K-pop does as well. Like they blend various
Mhm.
genres, which is what I also like as well. So adding different textures, to fit to different types of sounds that different artists have. So like if I was just purely a rapper and they merged me with a singer, they'll make sure that they'll collaborate the both, like hip hop
Hmm.
and R&B, or R and
Like
B
there's a
and
fusion.
reggaeton.
Hmm. That's
Yeah,
totally right. From that note, I can say that you're a certified army, aren't you?
yeah.
Yeah,
Certified
me
Army,
too.
yes.
Yeah, me too. I'm an
Secretly.
army too since 2015. Yeah, what did
Wow.
you learn? When did you learn about BTS?
Put 2013 when they debuted, and I kind of
Wow, so
just
good.
yeah,
And
just kind of
since
stuck
then,
with them since they debuted, really. And then obviously there's other groups more now. Since
mhm,
then, they've definitely made like loads of groups since then. It's crazy. But yeah, BTS being one of like the first K-pop boy groups I heard, and kind of just ran with them because they were easy to identify with, and their sound is changed over the years. You see how
yeah,
they've adapted, and look where they are now. You know.
yes, and the wide spectrum of their musicality is so just everything. It's just everything. They
Mm.
can go from hip hop to rapping to R&B, and then they would apply some orchestra in there, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
blended it so well that it's so pleasing to our ears still, even though at the back of our head that we would say that, oh, it's not going to work because it's a whole lot different genre. And with music such as BTS, it's
Mm.
wide spectrum of musicality and collaborating them to each other. And speaking of Monré, can you bring
Mm.
us back to the time wherein your passion in music and art started to go fire? Like, when was that moment as the musicality and you is building and building as you learn how to play piano or keyboard and
Mm.
explore music from R&B and hip hop? And can you bring us to that moment wherein you say to yourself that this is my life's path, this is what I want to do forever, this is what I do for a long lasting time, and this is
Mm.
me, this crafts who and what I am as a person. When does that like moment happen that I'm gonna enter the scene and I'm gonna be a legendary, something like that?
I would definitely say definitely when I did finish uni, when I graduated, I felt, ready, and I felt, I've absorbed like all this information, something definitely most passionate about because I stuck with it for such a long time. And yeah, and I just like again from there I started releasing my own craft to see where it would take me, and kind of from there then started reaching out to more people, sharing my music with as many people, and doing my own PR, reaching out to other DJs as well, and yeah. So I would say from uni, kind of just like really, it said to me like this is my calling, like music is for me, and I better not waste like the gift that I've been given, and I want to inspire other fellow Pinoys and other people to like follow their dreams, and do what you want to do. So hmm.
That's really inspiring to hear because a lot of Filipinos actually are into music. As we know, a lot of us are good at singing, good at producing, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
somehow the means that they cannot really fathom that or decipher that enough in order for them to produce or to learn like you. And how having that scene in reality here in the Philippines with your fellow Filipinos aspiring musicians and artists,
Mm.
what do you wanna say to them in order for them to start and to realize that this is the right track for them?
I would just say like I know it might sound a bit cliche, but like follow your heart. If it's not sitting with you right, then you kind of already answered your own question. Like if it is for you, it will come to you, and you will
Mm,
know, you will get the message, and just going with your gut feeling as well. Just like sticking to that can always be a good guide point. And I know it can be tough sometimes. You're not left with much options, but that's why it's also good to like try as many things rather than just stick to that one thing that you might not enjoy. So just keep your options open and try as many things. You never know. There's the saying like, be a jack of all trades but master of
Mhm.
none. And
Yep.
that's kind of like another motto of mine that I kept in my head growing up. Like, you don't know what you're good at until you try it. You need to try as many things. You need to be like, eager to learn about as many things and keep an open mind. So what you can do kind of process of elimination from there. And once you've tried so many things, you can be like, okay, that's not for me, that's not for me. But
Mhm.
this is speaking to me more, and this is something that I enjoy, and you kind of just take it from there. Mm.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Try as many things as you can, because from that you will find the right, path for you, the right track for you. And speaking of that, aside from music career, or aside from music industry, have you gone trying other careers as part of as related on what you have said, that you try things, and that have you tried other things
Oh yeah,
other than
yeah.
music?
So one of them was like looking into law. Like I said, I actually did want to become a lawyer growing up, and then that also kind of changed to looking into psychology. I was actually into a lot of the clinical and forensic psychology side growing up. So I did study that in college. Like that as an example, instead of just doing music at that time, I gave myself that option to also study psychology at the same time to see if it was for me, see if I could take something from that and learn, see what I could learn from that whilst doing music, which obviously I knew at the time that was something more I was leaning towards. But like again, I just gave myself that option, so I have that choice, that feeling of choice before I actually decide what I want to, go and pursue.
Hmm.
Mm.
That's
So those are
great
the
that
kind of two.
that's actually great that you've tried a lot of things before really rooting for what really is in your core.
Mm.
And I hope that a lot of our audience and listeners are drawing an inspiration and motivation from that. Now, if you didn't find yourself at the right track right now, well, just keep on trying, like go with the flow, with the things that coming around, or the opportunities. If you can grab them, or if you can seize them,
Mm.
go outside, and yep, you will know deep inside, down to your core, if it's for you. You're gonna feel it, and you'll have
Mm.
that power, like that kind of thing, that aside from the skill, aside from the technicalities and all, but the feeling, really, when you have that kind of feeling, it means that this is mine. This is gonna be my game for the longest time of my life. And that's good that you've mentioned that. Keep on
Mm.
trying things. And moving on, moving on.
Mm.
You've mentioned a while ago BTS, right? And the other inspirations that you got in the K-pop or Korean pop culture scene.
Mm.
So, how did you've mentioned that you've discovered K-pop through BTS and all.
Mm.
Give us some concrete examples, and how does that help you draw inspiration as you write your songs, as you produce your music, and overall?
Oh, just specifically from BTS,
Mhm,
or okay, an example like a track from them is as an example can be Black Swan. Black Swan implements a lot of classical orchestral symphony pieces, but then also mix the elements with hip hop and trap, so then at least they can complement that with their singing and rapping from like RM, Sugar, and J Hope, and then obviously you got like the pre-chorus. So like speed like structure wise, they always start with an intro, then you got a verse maybe, then they do a pre-chorus into a chorus. That's usually the typical pop structure:
mhm,
verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, or bridge, chorus, final chorus. And like kind of from there, that's when I kind of like learned how to listen to music and decipher it just by listening. And that's how you can like learn to add your own flair and your own craft to your music, to see what type of different textures you can add. Because as time's gone on, I think we can all notice that like tracks are getting shorter and shorter.
mhm,
So like that's also linked with our attention span, and obviously like if you're not keeping that listener engaged by introducing them to a different section of the song or a new instrument, or the listener's gonna get, you know bored. as well.
Hmm.
So that's that's just like one thing, I guess, like as an example from BTS. Obviously there's other other amazing K-pop groups and girl groups as well, both boy and girl groups and mixed as well,
Hmm.
which they're experimenting.
Definitely.
And yeah.
Absolutely. Giving us, different flavors, most especially that the younger generation listeners right now of music are more into new thing. They're looking for what kind of thing could we hear aside from the usual, aside from
Mm,
the old school, aside from the old fashioned things. I mean, they're so classic. Listening to the songs and music type way back
mm,
long time ago is really, really good, and it's still
mm,
with us right now. But as you said, we evolve based on what we had before, and we
mm,
draw from that in order for us to create a new one, like an evolved and transformed one. And you've mentioned that drawing that inspiration from BTS, you know,
mm,
it's a game changer in the music industry as well, because people nowadays are more into new things and new taste in terms of music. So
mm,
with that, you know, you've mentioned. Oh, sorry. I have seen actually on your Instagram that you're into fashion, right?
mm.
And what's like the overall peg or fashion type of Monré? Is it very poppy, old fashioned, very Asian,
Mm,
modern
I,
Asian, something like that?
I would just say just like edgy,
Edgy.
trendy in terms of like, like bomber jackets. So like also keeping it like old school. I'll just wear a
Uh-huh.
couple bomber jackets. I will mostly like either wear black or denim. That's just like
Mhm.
kind of just like my colors that I like.
Me too.
But yeah, a lot of like like Korean pop culture, like typical big jumper, skinny
Yep.
jeans,
Hmm.
jacket. Um, but yeah, like fashion as well. Yeah, definitely, kind of like
Yeah.
that, that
You
type of
really
style.
are. You really do suit perfectly in the fashion industry as well. Is
Thanks.
like a total package right here, like a fine man who does music in a genius way, and and also in the scene in terms of fashion and entertainment as well. But in relation to that, of course, missing performances in front of live audience, hyping the crowd, and doing
Mm,
the peck of an artist face to face. How is pandemic, treating you as it transitions on
mm,
what are steps that you are doing to still greatly deliver
mm.
great music rather to your fans and to your audience in this new normal? Like, how do you still manage to do great?
Um, there are definitely like with the pandemic, and I'm sure everyone can also like agree,
Mm.
to an extent. Obviously, the pandemic does have its pros and cons. Okay, like going to the cons, like for me, nothing beats hearing an artist live. Like for example, when I heard Ariana Grande live,
Uh-huh.
you just can't beat that. It's just a bit different than hearing it or watching it virtually. Just the different frequencies. That's just like my nerd self coming out. Like you hear different frequencies when you hear someone live, and you get to hear the actual voice. It's not covered with auto tune when you hear it virtually. But on the other hand, with that being said, for myself, like it helped me focus more on my social presence and utilizing the tools that we have available to us digitally in the meantime. And obviously, like it did make some people like put some things on pause, but then it kind of also helped give that little push to everyone as well at the same time to use like the tools that are already available to them. And for me was Instagram, Twitch, which was an online streaming platform that I used to like show a bit more my personality, which is fitness. So I would do home
Mhm.
workouts in the meantime to share with my fans and other people, and as well as that connect with DJs all over the world. So like kind of from there I made loads of good friends, virtual friends as well, and professionally via DJs, and reached out to them through Twitch in Canada, Japan, US, Philippines, um, and that's kind of like an example, like of how I've managed through the pandemic anyway, and just adapt to the digital era that the music is currently in. Hmm.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect situation, wherein we can still, manage to pull everything through greatly since,
Mm,
you're a young one and you learned everything a lot digitally from marketing, from producing your own music independently and all and stuff. So the main thing that you just have to focus on is connecting them to people socially, like just
mm,
like what you've said, connecting them to different DJs around the world, having
mm,
your music, listened by everyone from every places. And right now, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music are there to really cater the creativity and artistry that you got in order
mm,
for a lot of people to appreciate it and also, the main thing is to draw an inspiration from the stories that you're telling, that you're conveying people through your song. And
most
that's
definitely, yeah.
why that's the mission of of being called in this scene, in this industry, this very essence.
Mm,
And yep, going here, you've mentioned a while ago that um you've mentioned actually in one of your IG posts rather
mm.
that many DJs around the world are helping you or supporting you, promoting your music, being played on their show, on their board, on their stream. So how does that, happen? How do you connect with them? Do you know them personally or just like this through us?
Yeah, it was literally just purely reaching out. So as an example of reaching out to other DJs, I managed to connect with a DJ from Mix Global, which is obviously linked with like Dash Radio and ABS CNN, and kind of from there just ask their opinion, like what my music is, like to check me out, see if I can get their support, because fellow Filipino to Filipino,
Mm-hmm.
we would like support each other to the end. And yeah, it's just kind of from there, just reached out through social media, Instagram, and kind of just went from there with most of the DJs. And it's kind of just branched from there. DJs knew this DJ and they recommended my music, and it just kind of branches from there. Especially like with us Filipinos as well, and other DJs. It just, the word gets round, so that's why I just keep going. And you never know, if you don't ask, you don't get as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. That's actually true.
mm,
Reaching out right now through social media is becoming a thing in terms of promotion and marketing. And glad that we use this internet tool to our advantage. And luckily, in your passion and your music is, you know, aside from you becoming recognized, aside from you, booming your career and all wealth and all those stuffs, you're fulfilling yourself because it's really your
mm,
core. It's really you, right? And you've you've contacted and you've communicated with different audiences in United Kingdom, in USA, in Japan, and even in Canada. So how about here in the Philippines? Aside from Fresh FM, are you currently connecting or communicating with other radio stations that will cater your music and your song?
yes, so I got featured on quite a few online podcasts via Miss Global through Heavy Rotation, through a DJ called DJ Marlino. Shout out to DJ Marlino, sick DJ as well. Yeah, we just featured on the podcast alongside, like Inigo Pascual, James Reed, all these other brilliant Filipino artists as well that they featured and play on their radio. And yeah, it's another example.
Mhm. Well, since that you've mentioned James Reed, Monré,
Mm,
it's time for you to go back to your origin in the Philippines
mm,
after being featured among some of the country's top talents like
mm,
James Reed, Rada, Nadine Lustre, One Voice, and many more. Not
mm.
necessarily by returning or visiting Philippines in the near future, but if the situation permits, Filipinos will undoubtedly, welcome you here warmly. But what I mean is working with big names in the Philippine music
Ah,
industry. How would you want to perform with your Filipino peers in a world stage?
oh, who did you say? Or
Yeah. Who
yeah,
would you want to
who?
perform with? Yep.
Oh, that's so hard to choose though.
Yeah.
There's so many talented Filipino and Filipina artists out there,
Who's in the
groups
top
as
of your
well.
head?
Well, including James Reid, Niga
Jake?
Pasquale, yeah, Yolona Garcia, love her, she's really good.
Oh yeah.
Um, but there's so many, I couldn't choose, and I'm open to all collaborating
Hmm.
with as many Filipino artists out there. Because we need to climb and rise together. Because I feel like
Hmm.
we're definitely making a name for ourselves. Um, as Filipinos, like we've already got Sweetie,
Hmm.
who's Filipino, got her, already got Olivia Rodrigo, really good example of Filipino talent, and yeah.
Yeah, and who knows? Sooner or later, you'll get nominated in Billboard. You win an award in
Yes.
a big award show. Yep, we're here. We're here to uplift you here, this platform, and that's our goal actually, to be not just to get recognized, but also to let other people know that there's a hope, because was for a long time Filipinos are battling around in terms of getting boom in the world music scene, and we're now doing it. You're now doing it
Mm-hmm.
alongside your favorite artists, your fellow Filipino artists, and
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait that Monré is on the Billboard stage, walking on down the red carpet, receiving an award. Like you know,
We'll
that's
make it
that's not
happen.
impossible. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
please do make it happen, and we are here to support you. Your backbone here, like very family. That even though we're not blood related, that's a very Filipino thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're not blood related, but Filipinos, when we support each other,
Most
wow, we
definitely,
become the
yeah.
strongest. We become the strongest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And are you eyeing? Are you eyeing for some collaboration sooner or later with some, if not Filipino artists, with other artists there in UK or in America or in
Oh well,
any part of the globe?
yeah. I am like currently working on my third EP
Mm,
already. But in the meantime, I am also songwriting, producing for other artists at the moment, and yeah. So in the works. That's all I can say.
mm-hmm,
But always keeping busy, always seeing where else I can like share my gift
mm-hmm,
and help uplift other people, which is why I'm open to collaborating with as many people as I can, and
mm-hmm.
just growing and shining together. To be honest, yeah.
Yeah, that's very meaningful, right? You do not have that what do you call this? Not that big-headed guy who wants everything, all the fame, all the spotlight, just focus on him. And I really appreciate that hearing from you, because you talk very sincerely, and you wanted to collaborate with other people, spreading everything to inspire and motivate them to do their own craft. And yeah, you're one of
Mm.
the some of the few artists that I personally have an interview with, that have that passion in reaching out with people in terms of relating himself with music, with his career, and so on and so forth. So maybe, perhaps, I might start my music career sooner or later.
Start soon.
if time permits, and if we have time with that. But anyway, even though we're not in that scene, we're here, DJs, supporting alongside you, the
Mm.
artist. That's what we do. We hype you, and you give us you know a time to have you interviewed personally, so that the people and the audience can see you and relate with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, here we go with the next one, Monrey. There are so many, rising talented artists by this time. How can you tell the people, the whole wide world, refreshed by that Monrey is out of that status quo and setting a very unique flair to music lovers? As you achieve, as I've seen on your website, as you achieve and you aspire to become the first mainstream British Filipino artist. How is that?
I would just confidently say, like, I would say I have a different edge. And there is no one like me in the UK, British Filipino artist, that has, I have my own take on various genres. So I don't just do hip hop, trap, R&B. I done house as well, and I'm also branching out to various other genres. Um, and just I'm quite a versatile artist, and like I mentioned before, I'm an all-round independent artist. I can produce, songwrite, um, perform on my own songs, vocal comp, sound engineer, mix, master. I do the full thing,
You're
and
bringing a lot to the
um,
table.
yeah, you know, just
Yeah.
like bring as much things to the table, and you know, I'm confident in what I do, and that's what I would say. Just you know, gives me my unique flair, um, and I don't follow the status quo. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear because, and a lot of pegs and a lot of you know, copycat things. Well, we somehow try to have an inspire, draw a peg from them, but totally building your own name and standing
Mm,
out from it is really the hardest time, really the hardest task for rising artists in today's generation because there are a lot of genres and a lot of people doing the same thing and these things and those things. But we're kind of, difficult in finding, oh, which one is different here? Which one would suit my taste? Other than this artists or musicians who are just the same without undermining them,
of
right?
course.
Hmm.
Well, it's all part of the
And
journey, you know. Like what you do listen to, and what you like and what you don't like. These are like things that can help transform your own take on those things, you know. Um, so, like for example, like Nina Simone. Like when I was studying that when back in I was in uni, they were very big on trans like you know transformation on you know their own take on other similar songs, like doing their own renditions and covers, and that's how you kind of start to discover how your formula, let's say, of you making songs and your sound and where your voice sits and what key's best for you and how you like the tone of your sound to be your song. And yeah, it's just kind of that's what it links to, like from what you just said, just like the transformation side. Yeah.
you evolved from those, you know, and that's great that you finally discovered your own style, your own unique style that you wanna wave it around the world. That this is my brand. This is Monré. This is me, and you have me. You can have
Yeah.
everything, uniquely different from me. And
Mm.
to have that, let's go to one of your specific songs, one of your tracks. It is 88 My Way,
Okay. Mm.
alongside many of your tracks is now out in almost all music digital platforms, right? And can you walk us through the creating process of that particular song, 88 My Way, and its overall vibe and the meaning?
Of course, yeah. That's definitely like my most favorite lead single off the second
Uh-huh.
EP that I just released, Alignment. That was the most fun to make, I would say, and the most quickest actually. So the meaning behind 88 My Way is actually during around I would say Chinese New Year. I had already had the chorus written, so like I'm always writing wherever I go. If I have like a fun phrase or anything, I'll jot it down on my notes. And I had that chorus ready about 88, and I kind of wanted to start off the new year this year. That's just like um, start off right with good vibes, manifestation, wealth, happiness, fortune, and that's what the number 88 signifies, especially in Chinese mythology. That's what it signifies, those type of, like symbolism of those things. And I kind of just went from there, and kind of the song kind of wrote itself from there. It took me 20 minutes to write, and then after that, it was just to think of a key to put it in. Made the beat. That was like around 30 minutes as well. So I wanted an electric guitar sounding type of beat. I used two different types of guitar. And then I would also think about as well, did I want a pre chorus before the chorus, something to hype you up before the chorus? And I thought I'd add that after a verse, and I also done something different, which was to add a bridge, because in my previous songs before
Oh,
88, I wouldn't before this EP anyway, I wouldn't actually do a bridge. I would just do the like chorus, post chorus, and then the song kind of has an outro. But I thought, like for this like second EP in '88 as well, let me add a bridge. And a bridge, when it comes to a bridge in a song, is like the part of the song that actually sounds, if it makes sense, not part of the song. Like sometimes it can change key. It's
Mhm.
just a completely different texture to kind of give an overall completion of the song. Like you go into a different area, a different part, a different story of the song before you kind of end and finish it, round off the story. And I came with the bridge, just talking about like money don't sleep, not and I'm never sleeping. Like that form of like keeping going, pushing yourself, which is what 88 is about. And yeah, and then after once I recorded the vocals, vocal comp, all my arrangements, stacks, harmonies. I could do harmonies for days. Harmonies are so fun. Um, yeah, and once I got that out of the way, it was just left of mixing, sound engineering, and mastering. And then once I got that done, that was like over a couple of days. The song was done in 3 days, and that completed the EP for me. So yeah, that was the
Yeah.
process.
Wow. It sounds so easy yet so complex. And the way you said it, like as if like everyone can do that. And you really are a great artist because you didn't just, focus on just the big thing from a song, but you also focus in each of the details that you can have from chorus up until the bridge, refrain, and so on and so forth. And the concept behind that was really there, very, very theoretical in some way, because you really wanted to draw a concept for your song, not just the
Mm.
lyric themselves, not just the words themselves, but the musicality as well, the harmony
Mm.
you've mentioned, the melody, and so on. That really makes it a whole lot meaningful and substantial and relatable. How much more with the lyrics, right? How much more with the words when
Mm.
you put them in the track? That's
Yeah,
really cool.
telling a story is important. Like for me anyway. When I'm writing my lyrics, I don't want to write just anything. It needs to kind of flow and tell a story. I kind of feel like that. Like when you're listening, like you're going through a story, you're going through emotion, and yeah, and then look, it kind of all fell all in one place and ended up releasing on Chinese New Year anyway, which was great, and yeah.
That's really cool. And how about your newest single? You've just had them on Spotify, right? Can you tell us about that?
Which single? Know the score.
This
Um,
newest.
oh, 88.
N- After that, after 88, you've got a new one. Did I get that right a while ago?
So yeah, after I released 88, yes, then we had the EP because that was just the lead
Uh-huh.
single, and I released Know the Score, Profit, and Are You Down. Know the Score was a bit more of a hip hop trap um type of track, which had inspirations of like about gaming, but
Mhm.
also linking that
Oh.
into a relationship about it's called Know the Score, and you knowing where you stand in a relationship, and you
Uh-huh.
already know the score, so you know what's your worth, sort of thing. And
Wow.
then Are You Down, which was a house track, as an example of another different genre that I produce, house track I produced. Are You Down? Also talking about it, I wanted to give like more of a sunset type of vibe
Mhm.
for the summer,
Mhm.
because that's what I like about how she can work out to, gets you pumped. Could be for a sunset cruise, like something mellow and chill that you can just vibe to. And then Profit, which is also about money as well, just talking about
Mhm.
spend money, treat yourself,
Mhm.
but also make money on the side and make your own profit, like keep yourself secure and keep
Mhm.
going. But yeah, those
Yeah.
are like the songs that released after, yeah, for sure.
That's really, substantial, the meaning of it, from love, from gaming, up until how you should have yourself secured financially and then
Mm-hmm.
some stuff. And it really makes a whole lot meaning, a very holistic meaning. That's what I always saying on your thing, on your music, on your type of music. And yeah, definitely and absolutely a lot of Filipino fans, not just us Filipinos, but also around the world would be, having such a meaningful time listening to your song while enjoying them because the beats are so cool, man. They
Thank
are so
you.
dope. Like I can dance with it, but at the same time understanding the meaning of it. That's why after a while I'll sit down and have an existential crisis. Like, oh
Hmm.
my goodness, this is the meaning behind this upbeat song, this very R&B and hip hop vibe song. This is really the meaning because you know sometimes the thing could be understood when you really listen to it closely,
Hmm.
and through that we'll have our realizations and contemplations
Hmm.
as well, which is really helpful for us as the goal of the artist is to convey the story behind the this and those of the
Of
music.
course.
Yeah. And Monrey, do you
Mm.
have upcoming projects that you can tell us about or that you could give us some hint? Huh?
Yeah, well, I am working on my third EP already, like I said, and yeah, producing, currently songwriting and producing for others at the moment. But as well as that, besides music, I am working on like lifestyle projects. Again, more on like vlogging, so you can get to know a bit more about me and my
Oh,
personality a bit
great.
more, as well as fitness as well. I did put that under pause via Twitch because I stream home workouts for everyone to follow along while they're at home or wherever they are. And yeah, so that's kind
That's
of what's in the
great.
works at the moment. Yeah.
Mm. You're also in YouTube right now doing vlogs. I hope to collaborate with you in some other time
Yes.
again. And
Mm,
if probably you have a time visiting here in the Philippines
most
and the Fresh
definitely.
FM. Yep, and Fresh FM is here catering some big music festival or some music night. Well, definitely we will have you
Mhm.
if opportunity for you to come visit here is there. But I'm curious, have you been here in the Philippines? Have you visited or stayed for a vacation here?
Funny
Yeah,
story. No, I haven't actually
not
been
yet.
Philippines yet. So um,
Since 0 years old.
yeah, since since I was born here, yeah, I've actually never been to Philippines yet, but obviously, when I do get the chance to travel, obviously with the
Mm-hmm.
travel requirements and everything, it's different everywhere now where you go. Definitely will be visiting Philippines, LA,
Mm-hmm.
Canada, Japan, because I need to meet all of you guys,
Yes.
and meet all
Yeah.
different fans around the world, connect with them more in person than
Mm-hmm.
virtually, and yeah.
That's great. So aside from meeting your fans first in your music through your music,
Mm.
do you like visiting some? Do you know actually? This is one of us. Do you know some Filipino scenic spots here that you wanna have a vacation at?
Oh, what in Philippines?
Yes. Yes.
I heard that Boracay has like nice islands. You
Oh,
can go
yeah.
island hopping. Definitely want to do that.
Definitely. Haven't
Um,
been there too.
mm,
Both of us. That's great. I can also tell Palawan. Palawan, El Nido
Palawan.
Palawan. Yep. The underground river and so on and so forth. And what
Mm,
else? Bohol, Batanes, Cebu, a lot more. You definitely enjoy the Philippines on your first visit here. Or Ilocos, since you have Ilocano, right?
yeah,
Root, vegan Ilocosur, definitely,
most
definitely. You would
definitely.
fall in love with it. And yeah, when it comes to performances, how about that, Monray? Are you looking forward to having live performances if the situation permits?
Yeah, of course, most definitely. Like, I remember when I was performing a lot, like for my
Mhm,
examinations back when I was in uni and college. There's nothing that beats that feeling of being on stage, and that feeling and that hype of like performing to an audience. It's not the same via virtually, but yeah, most definitely. Like,
mhm.
definitely want to aim to do like a festival. Definitely like Coachella. Coachella's a big
Oh,
one.
yep, it is.
And
Especially when 88 Rising, right, performed in there.
mm,
Asian Supreme.
yeah, loads of everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, and Monray, for the last time, I want you to invite all of your fans around the world and here in the Philippines, your Fresh Squad, to listen to you and explore more about Monray in the scene as rising artist of 2022. Please have us all invited.
Oh yeah, definitely will. Of course. When you guys come here to London as well, or if I come and see you, um, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing again, and remain. Hope you guys stay happy. Keep doing what you're doing. Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you for that very sweet message for the rest of us. And I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
So, once again, many, many thanks, brother Monré, for warm regards on your music,
Thank you.
your journey. And we, your Filipino fans, are anticipating more from your music and the happenings in your life, of course. But before saying bye bye to our audience, Monré, I would like you to do the drill, do the pitch. The floor is yours, brother.
Okay. Hi, I'm Monré, and my music is on Fresh FM, your favorite hit music station.
And that's it. Hopefully, one day, Monterey, Philippines is in your top list of the go-to countries. Once you have your international tours and next project, if the situation permits, and hang out, even virtually, why not? Definitely, I'm
Mm-hmm.
all for it. And
Of
may the
course.
fortune be the strongest with you, brother. And
Thank
there
you.
you
You
have it.
too.
Very much welcome. And there you have it, Fresh
Thank you for
Squad.
having me.
Yep, Monray live on Fresh Sound, and this has been Vince the Prince, vibing on your zone, your sound, your crown on Fresh FM, your favorite hit music station. Can you say, I'm Monray and I'm Poggy?
I'm Monré and I'm Poggy.
That's great. All right, that's it, Fresh Squad. See you on the next one. Bye bye.